Alright, Mercedes-Benz. In 2024, they're the company that makes boring SUVs meant to be leased by dentists and accountants. But what if I told you it was a time where they did more? Much more. For this story, we have to take it back to 2007 with the release of the W204 C-Class, a cheap, reliable German commuter car made from the best materials possible. This was basically a German Honda Civic, and over its 8-year lifespan, 2.4 million units were sold, and Mercedes made billions from the C-Class. Capital letter B. To add some context, that's one C-Class every 2 minutes for 8 years straight without a single break or disruption or anything, because German, they work straight. Like the conveyor belt, the factory kept pumping them out. One C-Class every 2 minutes for 8 years. The C-Class sold so well that even during the financial shit show that was 2008, the production line was absolutely booming. Thanks to the sales of the C-Class, Mercedes was absolutely rolling in the green stuff, and they had some cash to burn. So what better way to do it than to introduce the C63? In 2008, the engineers over at Mercedes decided to give the C-Class an absolutely glorious makeover. Like an ugly chick in an early 2000s Disney movie, they took the regular C-Class and made it into the W204 C63, and oh lord, it was glorious. It had nothing in common with the regular C-Class, and this was the first sedan to be built in-house by AMG. The C63 came with the iconic M156 engine, which was a naturally aspirated V8 engine making 457 horsepower. And these weren't small little ponies, these were proper German horses. But all that power in a car that handles like a shopping trolley is absolutely useless. So AMG gave it the revised suspension from the c63 Black Series. And by the way, Black Series is a very important name at the Mercedes factory, and it comes up again in the rest of the video, so stay tuned. Black Series is the name given to only the best Mercedes and AMG vehicles to be produced. And make no exception, the C63 was definitely one of them. It had the quickest and most responsive suspension and steering of any AMG that had come before it. The C63 came with a 7-speed automatic transmission, but it had a manual mode that allowed the driver to hold the revs as long as he would like. All of this meant that for 0 to 100, the C63 only needed 3.9 seconds, and for a quarter mile, it only needed 12.3, with a top speed of 280 kilometers per hour. In 2009, Mercedes introduced the Performance Plus package, which included the estate and saloon versions of the vehicle. In 2011, the Performance package was updated. It now offered 480 horsepower and had compound brake discs on the front axle. You can identify them with red or yellow calipers. It also came with aluminium control arms and a brand new boot spoiler made of carbon fiber. The interior also got a makeover that included a lot more leather and extra Alcantara. And then, in the P31 package, the car was revised once again. It had a revised ECU and a new crankshaft. It also inherited the rotating assembly from the SLS AMG's engine. In 2013, Mercedes came out with the Edition 507 C63, which made 507 horsepower. Germans are known for a lot of things, but creativity is not one of them. The engine was revised and updated once again. This time, the same V8 engine, making the same amount of power, weighed less, had forged pistons, and received the revised ECU once again. Externally, the 507 got an aluminium bonnet and light alloy spoked wheels. Concept 358 from 2010 was a designer pearl orange performance pack for the C63. This car was the first to offer keyless entry and extra leather in the interior. Absolute essentials for a track car. Nah, fuck no, I'm kidding. The last special for 2010 was the D252 C63, which came with 3 extra horsepower and was only sold in the UK for some reason. Next for the C63 came the facelift, and oh, what a facelift it was. Unlike Mercedes today that would put in 2 new screens and a brand new bumper and call it a day with a facelift, Mercedes 10 years ago took a facelift very serious. First, an all-new transmission from the SL63 was added. Then it received all new 5-spoke lightweight wheels on it. And since the C63 went from being fast to fast as fuck, it now needed a new digital speedometer that could keep up with it. It also got a brand new AMG steering wheel with aluminium shift pedals to keep up with that, you know, when you really boop, 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 boop. Unfortunately, the power had to go back down to 480 horsepower, and now acceleration to 100 was 4.4 seconds, which is still beastly performance. But it was okay, because the C63 had a lot in store for it. Now, for the first time, it had a coupe variant that came with 2 doors. or you could say coupe, depending on how fancy you are. The C63 Edition 1, they included sports seats, new door panels, an armrest that had been upholstered in black designer leather and contrasting porcelain. It also had two-tone Napa leather all throughout the interior. That's fancy as fuck. That meant for the first time you could purchase Maybach quality interior in a two-door rear-wheel drive sports car. The engineers at Mercedes were then given the green light to go as crazy as they wanted with the next generation of the C63 coupe, or the next edition, sorry. And after spending millions of dollars on development and years developing the best product possible, the engineers at Mercedes came up with the C63 AMG Black Series. This was the regular C63 turned up to 100. It had a fire-breathing V8 engine making 510 horsepower and 620 Newton meters of torque, all sending it to the rear wheels. It now sprinted to 100 kilometers in 4.2 seconds, but it wasn't built for acceleration, it was built for top speed. It was now electronically limited to 100 kilometers per hour, but plenty of owners claim they've gone way faster, and if you just look on YouTube for 20 seconds, you'll find 3 videos of people hitting 310, 312. But more important than the Black Series was my favorite C63, the C63 Estate, which was a station wagon that could also drift. A concept that should never have been imagined, a concept that should have never existed, but the Germans executed perfectly. Well done. So, after such a successful run, Mercedes had to keep the C63 party going. So, in 2015, they introduced the W205. The W205. Oh, I get excited just saying the name. Mercedes then abandoned the design language that consisted of corners, straight lines, and edges for something that was more smooth, that had swooping lines and was absolutely curvaceous. So, let me give you guys some additional context. In the world of finance, a business has to make money to keep going, and Mercedes is not just a car company, they are a business. Additional context, at the same time in F1, the Mercedes-AMG Petronas team was absolutely dominating the field. And
it's Lewis Hamilton winning in Abu Dhabi to cap a championship winning season. Don't need to celebrate in the style that we all love.
The AMG badge had returned to being a symbol of performance once again. Meaning that if AMG wanted to, they could slap that performance badge on any of their road cars and immediately double the sales. So unfortunately they did. And that leads us to the fucking worst era of AMG ever, hands down. Unfortunately, from 2015 onwards, we enter a generation of Mercedes that were fueled by greed, not by performance and not by the German love for speed. The first of the fake AMGs was the C43, and if you have one of these, coming from a brew with no car, shit dog, you need to start making better decisions. It had a twin-turbo 3-liter V6 producing 362 horsepower, but worse than that, it was not handmade, it was made by a machine in a factory. Ugh. And the reason this car is hated is simply because it wasn't there in terms of performance. Compared to another company, BMW, with their lower division cars, the M Lights, the M340i is a suitable younger brother to the M3 because the B58 engine in that car actually puts up numbers. If we look at this V6 engine and compare it to the V8 in the W205, it doesn't count as a suitable baby brother to the C63. That's why I hate it, and that's why everyone hates it. And I repeat, if you have one of these, fuck, bro, you need to make better decisions, And in the spirit of making better decisions, a year later, Mercedes came back to their senses and introduced the W205 C63. The best C63. It now had a 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine that was hand-assembled by a master technician, and every single one of these engines came with a plaque to prove it. Does yours have a plaque, buddy? I thought so. Thanks to the magic that is German engineering, the new C63's V8 consumed 32% less fuel than the previous generation's engine, but made more power. The new C63 now sprinted to 100 in 3.9 seconds, and it was so fast that it now had to be electronically limited to 290 kilometers per hour, because 300 would just be too much, and Mercedes has never done 300 before. The C63 also came with an estate version that served as the F1 med car for a couple years, and it was so good that it could only be replaced by another, bigger Mercedes. A year later, Mercedes introduced the C63 Coupe, which came with a more aggressive front end that was designed to allow in more air, to provide a source for the engine, and to provide cooling for the brakes, which improved overall performance. Because going fast is only half of the game. Slowing down and being able to stop is another half.
My genius is It's almost frightening.
Now, if you improve both sections, you get twice the power, twice the performance. Well done, Mercedes. I think I'm glazing a lot. I really like Mercedes. I'm not even gonna hide it. I have a favorite company. It's Mercedes. I was making a BMW that would have talked shit. I was like, BMW would have done this, Bavarian bullshit. The new C63 also came with a wider track length and now had 19-inch wheels, thanks to its expertly designed twin turbos and its ECU that was very accepting to aggressive tunes. It was extremely easy to take the C63 and turn it into a flamethrower. Unfortunately, the greed consumed Mercedes to a point where there could be no return. The W205 C63 only got one special edition, and it was only special because it was rare and came with yellow lines. I'm disgusted. As a fan, cease Mercedes, unacceptable. Unfortunately, in 2020, when the W205 got its facelift, the only changes were a 9-speed transmission, which wasn't much faster than the original, new digital screens all over the place, and a brand new steering wheel and a slanted grille. The company that once slapped in a new transmission for a facelift was now putting in screens. Sad. And unfortunately, the situation at Mercedes only got worse because the brand new C63 now in 2024 is a 2-liter, 4-cylinder, turbocharged hybrid engine that's not rear-wheel drive. Instead, it's all-wheel drive. It hurts watching someone you love go down a dangerous route. It's like watching your friend become a drug addict. You watch them destroy themselves. And I watched Mercedes destroy themselves. I was a kid. I was 10 years old when the W205 came out. I'm now 20 watching the C63 become nothing. It's frustrating. I'm not even gonna waste my time talking about the new W206, and it's a piece of shit. And the sales numbers speak for themselves. So, unfortunately, over the generational war between the C63 and the M3 and M4s, BMW is winning, and it's absolutely insane. I saw an M4 CS, G82 M4 CS the other day, and it's absolutely incredible. So yeah, unfortunately, this is the end of the C63 video. It's one of those stories that doesn't have a happy ending because real life is like that. Not every story has a happy ending. So thanks for watching the video. If you made it to the end, thanks for watching me glaze Mercedes for like 10 minutes. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned to the channel. I'm going to be doing an A45 video soon, an RS3 video soon, and a TTRS video soon. All right, peace. Bye-bye.